like a whole circuit of talking about the game and everything lately?
Kind of, sort of. I did the G4 thing. I
Hmm.
do like one or two a week, but not anything crazy. The game's
Hmm.
still not out, but
Yeah.
once it comes out, I think I'll talk about it a little bit more. But at that point, people will be playing it, so they won't need to talk to me.
Hmm. No, the demo was really fun. It reminded me a lot of those runner type games, but it felt different too, and like the style is really cool.
Oh, thanks, man.
History with gaming first, like how you got into games, or if there's
Mhm.
early memories you can think of.
My history of games, a little bit complicated, but basically, the long story short, I played it like when I was a kid. Everybody, played the
Yeah.
Nintendo, Pokemon, and all that stuff on the playgrounds and stuff like that. And then I got into the high school, and most people don't really care about what they're gonna do
Hmm.
after high school. I never really cared either, but I just was like in the mind frame of I'm gonna make something really really cool, or I'm gonna be like a really cool like industry, or like I want to be that cool uncle. I fell for that. Those commercials that said, hey kid, you want to make games, tighten up the graphics on level 3 and all that. So I went to one of those terrible for-profit schools.
Oh.
I ended up making a bunch of friends and taking what I could from it, and after that, doing a lot of learning on my own.
Hmm.
I went to another school that was a little bit better, but I did a bunch of internships at small studios, not game studios, but like generic, tech studios and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
had a really hard time finding any kind of game job. No one would give me a job, even though they all said that I was really talented with
Oh.
3D art and that kind of stuff. So I went back and forth between a lot of like freelance stuff, a lot of here in Detroit we do automotive tech
Yeah.
jobs for auto shows and stuff like that, like small stuff like that. um Went back and forth between if I wanted to be a part of the game industry, because I couldn't get a job anywhere, and pretty much I couldn't even get an internship at like
Oh.
any place. So before I just kind of gave up, I said I was gonna make this game, make like a game for me,
Hmm.
and like screw the game industry and just kind of do it myself. And then I started working on this game about 2 years ago. I was just working on it off and on while I had like three other jobs. So I would
Yeah.
come home and just like work on this game. And people seem to like it. The game industry has a knack for like creating people with nothing to lose, and it's terrible because
Hmm.
like to be a part of the game industry, you pretty much have to put like all of your time and energy into learning all of these programs and networking and trying to go to events and stuff like that. And then to a lot of people, like I'm not the only one who has this issue. Like there's like hundreds and or thousands and countless people who have this issue of like just like being good enough and not finding like a
Hmm.
spot, or not getting the opportunities that they should.
Your schooling was mostly like design and art type stuff, and you had to like learn all the other parts of the gaming, like building a game on your own,
Yeah, so
kind of.
when I went to school, it was like really broad. They like touched a tiny bit on like a lot of different things, which
Hmm.
ended up like kind of not teaching you anything. But I gravitated more towards 3D art and like really making stuff like graphically pleasing.
Hmm.
I kind of just stuck with that, and then after I graduated and like started doing like side jobs, you kind of have to be a master of none and be good at everything. So that's
Hmm.
when I like started getting other skills with video editing and marketing, and like really get a design focus going and stuff like that.
Doing this website and practicing video editing and graphic design, or like Photoshop and stuff like that, which is a lot of fun. But well, the best way to learn is just to practice it, and like you start off kind of sloppy and then you get better and you learn things
Yeah, getting
along the
thrown
way.
right into it and not having a choice is
Yeah,
like
instead of
really.
having someone to like teach you and then you forget everything you learned
Yep.
because you're not actually using it.
Yep, because you have to know it
Mm-hmm.
at that point.
I was looking at your artwork on your site, and I like the style is really cool. It's all colorful and stylized. But where'd you come up with your style, or where do you think are big influences on you?
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I like do art stuff, I try to make it like, less generic because there's a lot of 3D artists and like 3D artists like getting real streamlined now. So like when I do some kind of art, I try to make it look kind of stylized or something that's a little bit more difficult to do than to just run it through a program and make it look realistic.
Hmm.
Um, but my style, like it's just like kind of my natural style. I like the really graphical look, like cartoony, but it's like a mixture of Fortnite and No More Heroes type of art.
Sometimes you hear like musicians you like the type of music they like it doesn't really reflect the music they play, but they're
Hmm.
like, what type of games do you like to play?
Play
Or
everything.
like, what are your favorite kinds of, like, some people are into like big RPGs and stuff like that, or
Yeah. Yeah, I like big RPGs. Like you said, I kind of gravitate towards that a lot. But the genre of RPG is like all over the place. I play Mass Effect and then Persona and a little
Mhm.
bit of everything. The only thing I don't really play is sports games.
Okay.
Nothing against them. I just
Yeah, I feel like to build the RPG or something huge like that, you need a huge team. Would you
yeah.
want to work with like a huge team, or is it more fun to do everything yourself and try to like figure everything out too?
Well, team size is like relative. Like I don't really necessarily like big teams
Hmm.
because then it's just too many people, too many opinions, and you got to say no to so many people and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Unless the whole team is like already under the understanding that it's your vision, so everybody's like following you. But most of the time, you're not that guy. It's the other way around where you're just doing what other people tell you to. I like small teams, extremely small teams,
Hmm.
like 5 to 6 people maybe, just because y'all can be focused on one type of goal and everybody's on the same page, and it's really easy to just talk to everybody at once and kind of make sure everybody's on the right on the right side of it.
When I was a kid, there was all these weird Super Nintendo or Nintendo games that I became obsessed with just because there were probably games that I saw the cover art or something like I need to have this game, or like there's like the Bart Simpson nightmare game. I
Yeah.
found all my old games the other day and I started looking through them, and there's like some weird ones that I just became obsessed with because they were my games, I guess. But do you have any strange games that you were like super in love with as a kid, and maybe you played them later and realized maybe they're not that good, or they just
Yeah, that's most games. Like I rarely go back to games that I played when I was in high school and before that, just because I don't want to be disappointed because I feel like
Mhm.
I would be disappointed. I have this imaginary, thing in my head of how good that game actually was when I'm
Yeah,
sure it's not.
yeah.
But yeah, I really liked those double A games from the 360 era, like
Hmm.
Wet, Lollipop Chainsaw, games like that.
All
Like
right.
those really weird, bargain bin games.
Hmm. Do you have a release date for the game yet for Neveryield, or has it
We
been pushed
do,
because
but
of
would
the
you?
whole pandemic?
No, actually, it hasn't been pushed. It was always meant to come out around the release date. I
All
find a
right.
lot of indies are kind of in the same boat where we don't really have to push stuff because we're
Yeah,
already
because you're
working
already
remote
working.
and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So yeah, our release date's the same. We just haven't announced it yet, but next couple of weeks we're coming up on a announcement. So
And do you have an idea for your next game or what you're going to do next, or have you started working on something, or just like you have ideas there?
yeah, yeah, man, I got a book full of ideas that everybody ignored until now. So, yeah, I got a bunch of ideas of what I want to do next. I might just like take a break because wrapping up this game was a lot.
Hmm.
I kind of want to see what people think about the game because if people don't like this type of game, then it kind of knocks out a lot of the other stuff that I have up. And then if it does really well, might just kind of quickly do a sequel or some kind of
Yeah.
DLC because now that I have all the systems and stuff like mapped out and like everything kind of I can make a level pretty quickly now.
Okay.
A sequel will be faster for me to do
Hmm.
than I would making a whole new game.
How'd you come up with I guess, the story behind it? Was it just designing it and thinking of the game you want to make and then building a story, or was there a story in your head and then you built the design and everything around that?
It's a little bit of both. So like when I was first coming up with the game, it was like gameplay, and then like gameplay as far as the core mechanic.
Hmm.
But after like the first level, I pretty much let this story dictate the gameplay. So I would come up and outline, hey, this is what's going to happen in this chapter, and then I would focus on the art, and then kind of like mold that into the brief cutscene that we have in the beginning. And the reason for that is because I kind of have to know where the character is in the world and what the environment looks like for the story, so that I can make the level. So
Hmm.
it was all kind of blended together. So everything kind of happens at the same time when I, come up with a level or story point.
And what have you been playing lately, or what?
Man, I haven't had time to play anything.
Or is there any game
Really,
you
I
come
think
home and you're like, I need a break, and you just like a stupid game, or I'll play
no,
some
like
Picross?
I finished the game. Like I have a really addictive like personality towards like once I start something, I have to finish it. So
Yeah.
I try not to start anything unless I know I have time. The last thing that I like really sat down and beat was Ghost of Tsushima,
Oh
which
yeah.
that game was really dope.
I
I
finished that
have
recently.
yeah, it's just so good.
It was really
Um,
good.
I started After Party,
Oh
but then I got too busy, so I fell off of it. And then once you fall off of a game for so long, you're like, I should just start something else.
yeah.
I have Persona Strikers waiting for me. So as soon as I kind of finish the sprint I'm on, then
Mhm.
I'm just gonna sit there and play that game.
No, I have a bunch of games that I'll start, take a break, then I come back. I don't remember anything about this, or I don't want to start it over though, because I don't want to like go through all those hard bosses or anything.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems I try to like offer a solution to with Never Yield is like it's a very easy game to just pick up,
Yeah, you
and
can jump in and jump out.
yeah, the controls are always on the screen.
Hmm.
There's only like four buttons. We have a little bit of a story, but nothing that you can't just instantly remember because the cutscenes are like 10 seconds. And you can just put it down and not have to worry about forgetting the mechanics or anything like that.
Yeah, and the music for the game is really good. Is that someone you knew, or you like went searching for musicians?
Oh
I
no,
know it's a
that's my
local.
homie Dan.
It's your
Yeah,
friend.
yeah. We that crappy college that I fell into. He fell into the same trap. He and I after we met in college, I found out that he lived like 2 blocks from me, like pretty much my whole life, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And yeah, as soon as I like finished up the designing the first level, I was like, this needs some like crazy funky music or something like that. And he was the first one I hit up. He pretty much does the music for all the games I work on.
Well, that's the cool thing about like making a game with your friends, or looking for people you know already, like, and having them help you out.
Yeah, I try to keep like any of my help requests to people I know locally or personally at least. So like most people you'll see in the credits, like the credits are super short, but like the people who are in there, like 90% of them are from Michigan
Oh,
or from Detroit. So
well, I'm really excited to play the game.
thanks,
Is it
man.
coming to PC and
Yep,
the next gen consoles for
yep,
now, or?
yep. PC next gen consoles, PS4, and
Oh,
the
okay.
last Xbox as well.
All right. Yeah, I'm still on the PS4. I'm trying to get a PS5 soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got like super duper lucky, but yeah, I know it's rough out there getting one of those.
Hmm. No, I just have so many games on the PS4 to play still, that
Yeah,
I'm like, let me finish some of these before I jump in and then build on that list.
yeah. Everybody, got a couple years before
Hmm.
there's like a real urgency to switch over,
Yeah.
which I think is a good thing. Like I want everybody to kind of enjoy, new games without being necessarily forced into a new console.
No, I'm excited then that I'll get to play it on the PS4, because I was
Yep.
gonna get it on PC, but I barely use my PC for games.
Yeah, I love consoles.
Hmm.
I play certain games on PC like The Sims and After Party and stuff like that. I find like I like story based adventures like on PCs a lot, and then I play like a majority of my games on consoles.
I do the PS4 and the Switch mostly.
Yeah,
The Switch is just perfect because you could take it anywhere,
yeah. That's
like
the Switch is
anytime.
really cool.
Hmm. All right. Well, it's good talking to you.
Yeah, man, it
Thanks.
was really nice meeting you.
Mm-hmm. No, look, I can't wait to play the game. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. I hope you and everybody else enjoys it.
Mm-hmm.